now. Great, so happy to have you all here. Hope your application process is going well. I'm Bali Cummings. I'm Alumni Network Manager, and I'll be hosting today's webinar. And with me is Amparito Paredes, our best CMO. I have her here. Ampi, I don't know if you want to present yourself.
I think you said it all. So yes, welcome everyone. Happy to be here as well.
Yeah, she's the best CMO. And Daniela Encina, our operations coordinator. Dani, the microphone is yours.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm process coordinator here at Startup Chile. I see everything that's in the visa landing process and all of that, and the formalization process also. So we can hopefully answer all of your questions regarding that matter. So yeah.
Great, thank you, Dani. So today in our second webinar for the final tips for an ideal application process, we will be answering all your questions related to this Big 7 application process. And Dani and Ampi will be helping us to present some details about our program and also give you some tips. And then we will have a space for specialized questions. So please, during the presentation, you please leave your questions in the chat, and I'll be trying to canalize them and ask them to Ampi and Dani. Okay, so Dani, I don't know if you want to start presenting.
Yes, I will share my screen now. So hopefully you can all see. You can see now, right?
Yes, great.
Okay. Perfect. So welcome all to our second webinar. And this is for your all tips and tricks. Hopefully you already saw our first webinar because we are going to go in the context of what is Startup Chile, but not in very much detail because we said that in the webinar before this one. So what do we look in the startups that we accelerate? Is actually, first of all, is that they are all tech based, and second of all, they are innovative, scalable, and they have an impact. So our programs are three of those, and we have our Build, Ignite, and Growth program, which is kind of the differentiation that they have is actually in the founding and between the stage of your startup. Okay, so first of all, we have the Build program, which is 15 million Chilean pesos, which is startups that are between the idea and the prototype. And then we go to the Ignite program, which is our 30 million Chilean pesos, which is from the prototype stage till starting the scaling sales. And the growth program is 75 million Chilean pesos, which is the scaling sales and $1 million dollars companies. And these three programs are different in the acceleration program, in which Build and in the Ignite program are 4 months of acceleration program, and in execution, the Build program is 4 months, Ignite program is 6 months, and the growth program has an acceleration program of 8 months and the 1 year of execution. Okay, so the acceleration program and the execution of the program are kind of parallel. So you can hopefully make some questions about that, and we can just answer them if you want to. But what do we do? Essentially, we have 5 pillars, and one of them is the resources that we give to you, which is the equity free funding. That means that we give you this amount of subsidy, and we don't ask you for a fee of your sales or your company. Okay. And we have a free co-work space in which you can all connect and make all of the networking that you want to. Then we have exclusive benefits with our perks and partners, in which we have credits with third-party platforms and all of that. We have the acceleration program, as I said before, which are the 4-month acceleration program and the 8-month acceleration program, which consists on subboards with mentors, with academies, spot academies, sub talks, and all of that with our mentors and actually some of the alumni. We have office hours with experts that you can get when you are in the program. And we have our beloved pitch training, on which the startups start very little, very with a pitch that is kind of weak, if you want to say so. And then you will start going to the pitch trainings with your peers and with the staff, and we kind of guide you in order to get a more elevated pitch. Then we have the connections, on which we have the corporate networks, the mentors, the networks of investors, the government institutions and the university. And we can now see which are the numbers. We actually have more than 200 voluntary mentors. We have more than 180 corporate and government partners, and we actually are a public acceleration. So we have a big base on that, on the public side. And we have more than 100 worldwide partners. We have more than 6,000 entrepreneurs for all over the world that actually came to here, Chile, executed the program, and we are now alumni. And we have more than 160 investors and venture capitals networks till this day. Okay, so then we have a pretty much strong pillar, which is the soft landing here in Chile. We offer you and we guide you in order to get your 2 years work visa. This is a visa that kind of helps you to get here in Chile and work here. We give you full assistance throughout all of the process. We give you the opportunity to open a Chilean bank account, and then you have the support from our alumni, one alumni to guide you through all of this that already been through this, okay? We have a very strong community. We have more than 2,000 startups that's been through the program, and more than 5,000 entrepreneurs all around the world. We have communications full of opportunities every week, and events and occasion for networking there at the co-work, okay? So I don't know if you already have your applications done, if you already sent those, but you are pretty much in the limit of sending the applications, okay? So we have 2 days left for the applications to close. So this is the moment that you want to, if you want to give, if you have any questions, you can just ask them right now, because we kind of have a couple of tips and tricks now that you can guide your application now. But I recommend you that hopefully you have your application ready, set to go, because it's actually pretty much it's a long one, okay? Then by the end of January, hopefully we'll have the results, and the program we will be starting from March on. Okay, so if you have any questions regarding, for example, the visa process and all of that, you can just leave them in the chat. So now I will lead you with Amparo, if you want to take the mic.
Yes, thank you, Dani. I love seeing all your questions down there. So we're getting ready to answer them right after this. So we have a little game for you. So let's play good idea and bad idea for your application. We see a lot of applications during this time. It's application season, as you would call it. It's time. And we see a lot of good things that we want to, of course, bring to the table so you guys can have the perfect application, as this webinar says. So let's go next slide, Dani. So first of all, we want you to explain a specific problem of what your startup is solving right now. So what would be a bad idea for us, like a red flag for it? It's saying a problem that is so wide that we really don't get it, like how is your solution helping it? So for example, it says the problem that I want to attack through my solution is global warming, which is causing environmental disasters around the world. Yeah, of course, we know global warming is going on, it's a real thing. But what would we want to see there? What would we consider a good application is something like this, like in this day and age, and according to the OCDE's research, 1 billion plastic tons are dropped into the ocean. That way we see that you, of course, know what's going on, and by providing data. And also it's something more niche, or like something that actually needs a solution, like it's not that wide. Go ahead, Danny. Next, we have a validation, and that is something that we say, of course, it always makes the difference. For example, we see a lot of solutions coming through here that say we haven't proven our solution with potential clients yet, but we know that this is really well, and this is good because I've spoken to all my friends and like they actually love it, or like my mom says it's really excellent, and like we get it, like of course like your friends are valid people, but we want to see again data. Like we interviewed 50% potential clients who are actually in the market that we are going into, not only your friends and all the stuff. Okay, so again, we really want data. For example, there it says we reach more than 100,000 sales. We are increasing our number of users by blah 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 percent. That is something that we want to see in the validation stage, and this is very important. For example, for a build, this is the early stage program in which we actually take in some startups that are just have an idea. For example, what makes a difference between just the idea and another one is having the validation. Okay. Next. Then we have your business always has competitors. I laugh at this because like we've seen people that say my solution is so unique, like this is the only one available in the market. Of course, that's not right. Like you haven't done your research. Do your research, because of course maybe your solution is the best one out there. We want those. We love those. But do not say that you do not have a competition, because like there's always one person out there that's doing the same thing in another way, in a more inefficient way. I don't know, but there's always someone. So a good idea on how to say that is we are trying to solve the same problem as blah blah blah, but we're actually faster. We're more efficient. We are I don't know, a cost efficient solution. I don't know, but we know there's competitors out there, and we will ask you. So yes. Next. Then we have the scalability part of your startup. That is something that we really focus on, and that's something that will probably get you out of the evaluation if we see something that's not scalable. So for example, a bad idea would be, I don't know, the IT solutions are based on the needs and the requirements of our clients. So that would be a very tailor-made solution. And that's great. We love that too, but we really need something that is solving a global problem, that is easier to get out there with the less cost and resources, you know. So a good idea would be, I don't know, our technology gives us the component of scalability. They will enable us to attend different clients from any part of the world. Maybe if they wanted tomorrow, we can do it because our technology is able to do so. Or for example, our business is model based on licenses and IP protection, allowed us to sell our product in different parts of the world. So again, it's a technology-based thing, so it's very easy to sell it to anyone out there and right now. Go ahead. And also this one. This is a very important question for us. There's a question out there that says, why Chile? So like, why did you choose Chile to like come here? And of course you want the grant and you want the resources and everything. And Chile is a great place. So many people say, I don't know, Chile is great. I love their mountains. I love skiing. So I love the beach and all of that stuff. And like, thank you. I love it too. But a good idea for your startup would be, I don't know, Chile represents an attractive market for me. The industry there is growing at this rate. So I want to get there because it's a great time to get there, I don't know, early. Here it says, at least 70% of its population uses credit cards. And that would be great for a fintech to come here, for example. So yeah, focus on why Chile, but in that the aspect of getting to grow your startup here and all this kind of stuff. All right, Danny. Yes. So that was a game, but like now we have some last tips in before applying. So warning. To avoid any problem before starting the Startup Chile experience, we have a little tips. So for foreign startups, and I know that many of you here are foreign, if your startup is foreign, we highly recommend to consider the following. So the country of Chile will be your permanent residence for at least 4 months. So all the documents for requesting your 2-year work visa must come from your country of permanent resident right now, not from other country where you're temporarily residing. Okay, we will get to discuss that later. Danny right here, she said it, but she's in charge of the visas, so she's a good person to ask. So please leave your questions below. You will have to have an updated international passport. If you don't have it updated, we highly recommend it requesting it right now, or maybe getting an extension of at least 24 months from March. If you get into the program, you will get here in March of 2024. So that's, of course, we need that passport from that starting point, okay? And then, and this is something that you can start getting right now in case you get in, is your police record certificate. So after coming to Chile and it's needed for processing your work visa, you must have this police record certificate, and you have to have it apostilled. I don't know how you say it, but it's apostillado in Spanish. And it has to have that from your country of permanent residence. Of course, if you get here, you will have all the help to get your visa, to get all your documents here in Chile. But of course, we love it when you come here with some documents beforehand, okay? And also remember, if you are a foreigner startup, you must apply as a natural person, not as a company, okay? Go ahead, Dan. For Chilean startups, this is some recommendations that we always say. You can always ask us. It's all in the terms and conditions. We will probably answer that. But remember, there's some incompatibility with Corfos funds. Some of them, okay? So you cannot have those at the same time, of course, but some of them you can, I don't know, finish one and then start the other and all the stuff. But everything is in terms and conditions, because we get a lot of specific questions on that. For example, I have this fund and I don't know, just go there and we can answer right now as well. And yeah, that's what I said. One Corfos fund at a time, okay? Have that in mind, because we've had some startups like getting here, start the program and everything's going well. And there's like, oh my gosh, you had a Corfos fund. We didn't know that. So yeah, be careful with that. Next one. So yes, why am I saying all of this? We've had some delays before. You know how the system works. So we might have delays in receiving the 2-year work visa. there might be delays in receiving the funds. We've had them because we are a public sector entity, so that always happens, and have in mind that that can happen. And also that will increase the probability of not being part of Startup Chile in the future. For example, what I just said, like if you had another fund, we don't like that. Like no one likes that. So yeah, just make sure to follow the rules. Okay, next one then. And some friendly reminders before we start answering your questions. Read the terms and conditions. Read it 3 times, okay, if that's possible. There's always something there that you might find, and it also helps you with your application. Number 2 is find a good reference. We've gotten questions about this, but you need a letter of recommendation at the end. Find someone who's in the ecosystem, who knows you very well, who was your professor. I don't know, that's a good one. And also the project must be executed in Chile. That's very important. You have to be here for at least the 4 months that are part of the program, but you also have to be here until you do the whole grant rendition, which can take, I don't know, 3 months. It can take 1 if you're really good at it. Danny can tell us about that. But it sometimes takes, I don't know, 5 months. But during that time, you must be here. And yes, we provide a nice cohort for you to work here if that's something that you need. Yeah, next. Choose your team leader wisely. You won't be able to change it. This is a question that we also get a lot. We can go over that later in the questions. But in the application, we ask for a team leader. That person is the one who has to be here during the whole time. You can have your team members, other people in your team travel around. They can maybe not come, but the team leader has to be here. And that person and that figure is the one who's going to be attending their mentorships, their academies, and all the stuff related to the program. Okay, and that cannot be changed. We've had those questions before. We cannot change it. Also, only the team leader can execute the program, like as I just said. And again, the team leader must be 100% dedicated to the program. It's a nice program, acceleration program. It's a nice grant. It's great that we give you that. For as Danny said, it's equity free. We do not want anything from you guys. But what we ask for is that you guys stay here and do the work. Like the 100% dedicated thing is because it's intense. It's gonna be an intense 4 months of learning a lot. I don't know, maybe pivoting some stuff, and I don't know, working on your startup, which is something that I hope you want to do. So yeah. Next. So yeah, that was it. Ride the startup wave with us, and yeah, let's open up some questions from you guys.
Yes, Ampi, then I know you made your best, and I tried my best too, answering all these questions in the chat, but I have some of them that I would like to highlight. So let's go with Claudia first. Claudia is asking, regarding co-founders, do you recommend to detail the information for all the founders, or 1 or 2 is enough? Amparo Paredes, please help me with this question.
Yeah, so I want to take something from this question. Something that we really look for in a startup is their team. So if you want to provide as much information from the co-founders, and that's the question, right? As much information of them as we can get, we love that. The team leader is someone who's going to be here the whole time, and as I just said, but the team is so valuable for us. We sometimes value it more than the solution itself, like really. And going into terms of evaluation, of course, it depends on anyone who is evaluating us in the stuff, judges who are external, but the team really is a very valuable component on your application. So yes, we want to know about them. I don't know if we want to know about the 10 of them, but for sure we want to know the people who are up there. I don't know, CFOs, CTOs, CMOs, whatever. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
I want
Yes.
to say something about
Okay.
that. I'm sorry, just a little bit from the financial part or for the funding part. And it's actually if you're a foreign natural person and you're applying with your team, for example, if you put your team in as the team members, you will not be able to pay those salaries if those people are not here in Chile and that doesn't have a root number, okay, which is the unique tributary roll number, in which you get to get your salary. Okay, so if you want to pay your founder or your founding team and they cannot come here to Chile, you have to be careful about putting them on the application process, because if you put them in the application process and you want to pay them a salary, you will have to do that with your Chilean root number. Okay, so that's
Yes,
it.
that's very
I hope.
important, Danny. Thanks for the details. We also have a question here from an entrepreneur that it's currently adding more co-founders to the startup. So he is asking if he should add it to the application form, or maybe not yet. Danny, maybe you can help me with that.
Well, yeah, that's full on you. Actually, I cannot tell you what you should do or not, but that's kind of be mindful that if you want to pay them a salary, they will have to come here to Chile, have do all of the process for the visa and all of that. So be mindful of that. If they are capable to do so, if they are want to do so. So yeah.
Great, thank you very much, Dan. Ampi, maybe you can help me with the question. There's a guy asking about the question related to why the Chilean market. Can you help me how to guide the answer of these questions? Are we referring to mention maybe some clients that you may have, sorry, here in Chile, or maybe the potential?
Yeah, so as I said in the game, what we want from you, I don't know, where are you coming here? Like, why Chile plays a special part of your, I don't know, growing plan? Like, do you want to start here and get to other markets in Latin America, for example? Why is Chile an attractive place to, I don't know, prove if your product or service works? Is it a laboratory for you? Do you want to actually establish here based on what the market looks like here, like what people are consuming and all that stuff? What I said there and what is important for you to have in mind is not saying like, I don't know, Chile's a special country and it's very pretty and all that stuff, but like go deeper into that and maybe do some research if you don't know the country but you want to come here. It's like I don't know, there's a reason you are applying to startup today, but yeah, just research the market and see what makes sense with your solution, I would say.
Thank you, Ampi, and maybe you can help me with this too. There's a lot of people asking about the format of the reference letter. Who can refer me? Maybe a former employee, or who can? Which profile are we looking for to make those references?
Yes, we are looking for someone that really knows you well and how you work and how your startup works, and of course can talk nicely about you. Of course, we really like when we see people from the ecosystem. I don't know, someone who has worked in a startup before, some professor who is related to, I don't know, entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem, all that kind of stuff. We love to see, for example, ex-suppers who actually are referring people who right now have a successful startup. We love to, of course, have suppers recommend the program because like they better than anyone else can recommend it and see how it worked for them. So yeah, I would say that it's someone who really knows you, but we can also like say yes, this is true. And yeah, so the startup works for us. In the format, I don't know, it's just a PDF file and all of that, and you just upload it there. Yeah, it's very simple. We do not want that something that fast.
Yes, always remember that if the application form is not requiring any format, there's no limitations on that. Danny, please help me with this one. I know you'll love it. So the police record is required for the application process or after the selection process?
Okay, perfect. It's recommended that you start working on that police record certificate and the apostille of that, but it's actually mandatory for the when you are selected in the process. Okay, so it's not necessary for the application process. You don't have to hand us the police record certificate, but when you start doing all of the visa process, I need that document in order to get you here and have the visa.
Great, thank you very much. I have here a question related to the issue of being in person in Chile. They are asking if the co-founder must be in Chile too. Ampi, please help me to answer this question. I know it's well, we always say it a lot, and it's also presented in our terms and conditions, but please, I would like to hear it from you.
Only the team leader has to be here. We would love it if everyone come, like that would be great. It's a party for everyone. But we know that it's not easy to bring them. Have in mind what Danny said, that if it's an international person, they have to at least have a root, which is like your ID number here, to get paid. Okay, so that is one thing. But in terms of like a practical thing, and we know it's hard for you to bring everyone, only the team leader has to be here. If you want to bring your family, if you want to bring everyone, you can do that, okay? But have in mind what Danny said. And we love it when you come with your families. That's something, we love it. The cowork is full of people, and yeah, we love that.
Great, and Dan, maybe you can help me with this. Can the entrepreneurs pay to team members that are not in Chile?
Okay, so that's a kind of tricky one, because as I said before, you can pay the salaries of your team members that are in the application process, okay? If your team members, for example, if those are founders, but they are not team members in the application process, but they are founders in your company, for example, in the exterior or in the project in the exterior, you can totally pay those founders. But you have to keep in mind that in order to get those expenses approved, you will have to first of all kind of declare those expenses to your business and financial executives. So if they find that those salaries are okay and those are directed, because you have kind of entered with the financial process then, but if those kind of expenses enter in the kind of criteria that we have, yes, you can totally do so for the founders that are not in the application process. Hopefully that answered the question.
Great, thank you. Just for you to don't get confused, you only have to declare those costs only when you get selected and when you're part of our program. And also, Josefina is asking us, when you ask about the startup, do you mean the project or the company? Maybe I can answer this, because when we ask you for the project or the company, we assume that they have the same purpose and the same objective. So I know we ask a lot about value proposition, differentiators, and other things. So we are asking about the whole project, that we assume that it's the same that the company, in case you have one. It's not necessary to have a company legally incorporated, but it depends the program, sorry, but it will depend. So here Anne is asking, I have quick questions about the accelerator program itself. It starts from months from now. No, it will start from 4 months from the beginning of the program, that it will be in March, okay? So our startup will be in a different stage at that time. So what happened if at that time I will have an MVP developed? Ampi, can you help me with this one?
Yeah. So we ask you about your MVP in the application. We ask, for example, how long will it take you to have the MVP if you don't have it right now? And that is something that we can see later in the evaluation process sometimes. What we evaluate though is what is in the paper, in the application when you do it. So it's, for example, today, later when you send it, hopefully. So that's something, but also have in mind that once you get here, if you get in, you will have someone who works with you on that plan for the next 4 months, which is your business will help you with your work plan and what you want to achieve from the acceleration program in the next 4 months. So I don't know if that answers it, but have in mind, and for everyone here, that what we take is what we see on paper, okay?
Thank you very much. I think that we are getting to the end. We have some quick questions. Can you share application pitch videos? No, we cannot, because they are private. But trust yourself, guys. It's just a video presenting yourself, your startup. You can do it.
Vali, can I say?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, can I say something about the video? So I always try to, I don't know, when someone asks for advice on the application, I always advise them on having a good video and that is greatly communicated on what you do. Of course, I'm in the communications area of startup too, so that's very relevant to me. But have in mind that we see so many videos and so many startups that try to differentiate yourself from others on that 1 minute video. I'm not asking for you to have a major production and all of that stuff, or do a musical. I would love it, but no. But have in mind too that having a great video is something that's good for us. And I'm just talking about communicating well what you do. Okay, can we skip the video? No, I saw that.
Yes, that's important. You cannot skip any question, please. We really want to get deep when we're evaluating you guys, so please do your best. And Danny, we just for you to know, guys, me and Danny, we are part of the landing team also. So if you're getting selected, we will be the faces and the hearts and the minds behind that process. So we have a question related to trip travels, business travel, sorry, and the requirements of being in here. How does it work during the practice? And also, if they can bring also team members to the program, and if they can come back and forth to Chile and all that stuff.
Okay, yes. So we have the acceleration program and we have the execution of the program. For the acceleration program, as I said before, for the Build and Ignite program is 4 months, and then for the growth program is about 8 months. And in the acceleration program, we have plenty of mandatory activities which are in person. Okay, so you have to be here in the duration of those 4 months. And then for the execution of the program, you sign a contract with Corfo. And in that contract, you say that you will be here in the execution of the program for 4, 6, or 12 months. Okay, so you have to be here for about the 4 months of the acceleration program, and then 4 months for the acceleration program, okay, or the year, which is in growth program. You can totally go back to your country, for example, expanding the holidays and all of that. There's no issue in that. But you will have to talk a lot about it with your BizDev, which will be your technical part, and that will help you with the acceleration program. Of course, there's a plenty that can go within a year, you know, but yeah, you can totally go back and forth with your crewmates, with your founding team and all of that, which are in the application process or are not in the application process. There's no issue in that. You have to be mindful though that the flights that you can present in the program you can only present the ones that are in the application process. Okay, you can only present the expenses for the landing team and for the landing process for the people that are in the application form. Okay, so you have to be very mindful of that. And yeah, I don't know if I answer the questions, but yeah, you have to be here by the 4, 6, or 12 months of the execution of the program. That's why we ask you for the 100% dedication to the program.
And Ampi, I have a very good question related to our female founder factor. I know you would love this. So can you explain us how is the co-founding working? It says 90% for female founders. I know we have talked about the female founder factor, but maybe you can get deeper into this.
Yeah, so our Female Founder Factor is an initiative that is transversal to all our programs. It's not a program itself, but it's something that we pay attention and have in mind and consider it during each of those applications. So, for example, the co-funding is that you need to supply less money that a man would, and that's something that we do in order to, of course, close the huge gap that exists today and nowadays in the entrepreneurship and, of course, technology area itself. So what we do is like the you only have to co-fund 10% of it in the case of Ignite. Is that correct, Danny? And also it's a 40% in the case of growth. Yeah, 40, and a male applying would have to supply the 50% of it. Okay. And also, now that we're talking about it, for the Build program, 50% of the entrepreneurs will be female. Will be female-led startups. So that's something that it's a small thing that we do in order to like do this whole gap thing that we said, and also a lot of other things happening during the program. Like, for example, having a female mentor for female leaders, having, I don't know, community events with all our female entrepreneurs, but also like putting the thing out there, not only for women, but also for like the whole community. Okay, so that explains it a little bit, and I hope that actually answers your question on the co-funding itself. I know, Danny, you can maybe talk more about the co-funding thing.
Yeah, you actually present through a platform all of the expenses. Well, we give you the whole fund in one payment, in a upfront payment, and you have, for example, the 15, 30, and 75 million Chilean pesos in your bank account that we help you get. And then you start expanding that money. Okay, of course, with all of the guide with your financial executive and your BizDev, all of that approved by them. And then once you get, for example, you already expend the 15 million, for example, you have to keep presenting expenses until you reach the 100% amount with your co-founded, with your part of the fee, or your beneficiary fee, which is the 10%, 20, 40, 50, and all of that.
Thank you, Dani. But don't get your microphone off because we have a lot of questions also about the grant. So if we get selected, Romy says, can we expend this on maybe Amazon Web Services? And also, yeah, maybe let's start with this one and I'll
Well,
get second one later.
Yeah, as I said before, you will have a couple that will guide you with all of the grant report tracking, and which are the BizDev, which is the technical part, and the financial executive, which is the financial part. In order to present any kind of expense, you first have to present what you want to do and your goals with the program and what you want to do in the process of the acceleration program to your BizDev, okay? So your
And all the
BizDev,
expenses must be in Chile, no?
not really, not
Okay.
actually, no. The expenses can be in, if, for example, you can present an invoice from Thailand. I've seen Thailand, Finland, and all of that. You can make the expenses all over the world, but you will have to have the right background, the right, you have to present the right invoices and all of that. And on the other hand, you will have to have that aligned with your goals for the program. Because if your BizDev does not think that, for example, any kind of expense is not aligned with your program, with the program, they will not approve that expense.
Yeah, that will be defined once you get selected and once the program
Yes.
begins. And also other important questions that we're having here is if you can make changes to the application form once you send the form. And as Ampi said to the friendly reminders at the friendly reminder section, you're not able to change neither your team leader, neither team members, or all that stuff. Only once the program gets started, you can make some changes about the contact info, but all the information, it's written in a paper, and it will be that until the end of the program. Also, I have a question related to ticket planes expenses. I understand that the grant can cover those expenses. Can you confirm that, Dani?
Yeah, as long as your BizDev says so and your financial executive says that every invoice is checked and done, yeah, you can totally present those. Again, only you can present those expenses for the people that are in the application form, okay? That's it, okay? So for the team leader and the team members that are in the application form, you cannot present any expense that's on the founding team, for example, and they are not in the application form.
Great. Thank you very much, Dani. So I think that we are repeating some questions about the reference letter. Please, for the ones that got late, please check our recording. We will upload it to our YouTube channel. And we have also a lot of questions related to the grant expenses. So don't get anxious, guys. We will give more information once you get selected, but step by step, please first your application form. And yeah, the reference letter must be submitted at the same time of the application deadline we requested in our application form. So Dani, Ampi, thanks for everything. I think this is the end of this webinar, not of Startup Chile. It's a long time left, and just wish you the best, guys, in your application process. You have, I think, 2 days left to submit your applications. And Dani, I don't know if you want to add some extra words.
No, don't leave it to the last minute. It's always something that we say, but sometimes, I don't know, the website crashes and all that stuff. So please submit it, I don't know, the morning of at the most. And also pay attention to, yeah, what differentiates you and have a nice video. That's something I would say. And good luck.
Thank you, guys. See you. Hope to see
Bye.
you during the program. Bye bye.